Support for our podcast comes from Symphony 3, which has announced exciting news. It's launched its innovative Smart Glue platform on the AWS marketplace. That makes the secure and affordable integration solution accessible to government agencies worldwide. The platform includes over 50 pre-built connectors specifically designed for public sector systems, government APIs, enterprise solutions and AWS services to transform citizen experiences by breaking down data silos. Smart Glue delivers operational excellence for local governments through cost reduction, process optimization, improved decision-making and scalable architecture, all while maintaining comprehensive security and compliance standards required by public sector organisations. Get in touch to see how Symphony 3's expanded team and solutions can support your goals. Head to symphony3.com to find out more. Coming up on your Friday Roundup, a victory for community activism in Hepburn Shire, a new award program honouring women in local government, a CEO recruitment process comes under investigation, a council fined over a sewage discharge, workers protest possible redundancies at Liverpool, the date is set for Townsville's mayoral by-election, 2 South Australian councils appoint new CEOs, and election controversies in Western Australia. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. This is the Local Government News Roundup for Friday the 3rd of October 2025. Great to have you with us. Our podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with a new episode of VLGA Connect coming your way later today. And we receive support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences through their Smart Glue platform. Now available worldwide on the AWS marketplace. Hepburn Shire Council is hailing a significant victory for community activism with news that the Endeavour Group's plans to open a Dan Murphy's liquor outlet in Daylesford have been permanently shelved after a 2-year battle. On Monday, VCAT upheld an earlier decision by the Victorian Liquor Commission to refuse the retail giant a licence to operate in the town. Mayor Don Henderson called the decision a win for Daylesford, the community, the Shire and Council, noting that it would protect young people from potential alcohol-related harm. The case has garnered attention as a landmark ruling, with VCAT citing concerns about the proposed store's proximity to schools and family-friendly areas. Mayor Henderson praised the community's grit and determination in opposing the development, suggesting the decision could empower other communities facing similar battles. The Victorian Local Governance Association and the Victorian Government have launched a new award program honouring women in local government. Named after Victoria's first female councillor, the Mary Rogers Awards will recognise outstanding women leaders from across 3 categories, an award for current women councillors, an Emerging Leader Award for first-term councillors, and a Champion Award for councils promoting gender equality. VLGA CEO Catherine Arndt said the awards aim to highlight women's contributions to local government with the goal of achieving 50% female representation by the 2028 elections. Currently, women make up 43% of councillors across Victoria. Nominations are open until October 24th, with winners to be announced at Parliament House in late November. Regional Alliance One Gippsland is urging government action following a national report showing climate change is worsening natural disasters. The report projects economic costs will rise from $35 billion in 2020 to $73 billion annually by 2060. One Gippsland Chair, Councillor Nathan Hersey, said the group is advocating for specific measures including a betterment disaster funding model, 72-hour backup power for telecommunications towers and more flexible disaster recovery processes. Councillor Hersey said the group will meet with key government ministers later this month to discuss the policy and funding recommendations. Staying in Gippsland for a moment, and Latrobe City Council has announced a cash surplus of $7.3 million for the current financial year and has put plans in motion to reinvest the funds back into the community. At last month's council meeting, the council endorsed several key projects, including $600,000 for a new public toilet at Immigration Park in Morwell and $500,000 towards a multi-use pavilion at Northern Reserve in Newborough. The largest allocation will see $3.4 million set aside specifically to leverage additional state and federal government funding for future infrastructure developments. Half of the surplus has been directed to the Transition Reserve to support long-term financial sustainability and economic development initiatives. Golden Plains Shire Council has put a revised 2025-26 budget with an overdraft facility option out for public comment. The changes to the budget address significant increases in depreciation expenses and asset values that weren't complete at the time of adopting the original budget. The Council has also adopted unanimously a gambling harm minimisation policy that will guide strategies on planning, regulation, advocacy, service delivery and infrastructure, positioning Golden Plains as a regional Victorian leader in gambling harm prevention. Horsham Rural City Council has made a formal submission to the Australian Government's National Food Security Strategy, highlighting the region's significant contribution to food production. The Council is advocating for a regional first approach that includes protecting agricultural land, investing in infrastructure and prioritising strong regional cities. The submission was endorsed at Mayor Ian Ross's final meeting before taking leave for health reasons. Councillor Ross recently revealed he's been diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma. A tumour in his palate is extending to just beneath his brain. The duration of his leave of absence is unknown, but he said he hopes to return to council once his treatment is complete. A motion to join a task force aimed at supporting asylum seekers has been rejected by Campaspe Shire Council despite an impassioned plea from one of its councillors. The motion would have seen the council become a member of the mayoral and councillor task force supporting people seeking asylum, but was defeated 4 votes to 3 at a recent council meeting. The Riverine Herald reported on the debate, in which Councillor Zoe Cook argued that the council has a moral obligation to stand up for marginalised communities. However, Mayor Daniel Mackerel, who voted against the motion, cited 2021 census data showing no registered asylum seekers currently living in Campaspe Shire. He and other opposing councillors maintained that asylum seeker policy remains a federal issue outside council's operational scope. And we note the passing of a long-time councillor and former mayor of Geelong. Jim Fidge served as a councillor in the late 1970s, following in the footsteps of his father. He served as mayor between 1987 and 89 and was involved in many community and sporting groups. He was 84. Vale Jim Fidge. Now, more Victorian Council news in brief. Banyule Council has welcomed new state government rules to protect tree canopy in residential areas, which will help meet the council's 30% canopy cover target by 2050. New regulations require residents to contact the council before removing any trees, with a legal removal subject to prosecution. East Gippsland Shire is seeking quotes for an independent safety audit of the Bairnsdale outdoor pool, an ageing facility at the end of its life with identified risks. Brimbank's Sunshine Energy Park project has been shortlisted for a 2025 Engagement Institute Core Value Award, recognising its excellence in community and stakeholder engagement. And residents of Melbourne's Outer West will hold a rally this weekend to press the need for better bus services. They're calling for electric buses to run every 10 to 15 minutes, 7 days a week, and the straightening of indirect bus routes into an efficient grid system. The Better Bus Fest will be held in Werribee on Sunday. You're listening to the Local Government News Roundup, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, with a new episode of VLGA Connect on the way later today. I get to know the new CEO of Golden Plains Shire Council a little better. Adam McSwain is one of my guests on the show. And we'll also catch up with the Mayor of Merrybeck City Council, Councillor Helen Davidson. Look out for that on YouTube and podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, later today. Controversy is swirling in New South Wales over the appointment of a new CEO at the city of Shoalhaven. The New South Wales Local Government Minister Ron Honig has reportedly asked the Office of Local Government to look into the appointment of former MP Andrew Constance. Multiple media outlets have been reporting that the minister launched a preliminary investigation into the manner of the appointment, which was announced earlier this week by Mayor Patricia White. It quickly drew the condemnation of member for Gilmore Fiona Phillips, who said it smacked of political bastardry. Her concerns are reportedly shared by State Member for South Coast, Liza Butler. Some Shoalhaven councillors are calling the process into question as well. Councillor Ben Crixtolatis said the entire process was flawed from the start. He said the goalposts kept shifting and that he believes it to be a political appointment and not based on merit. Another councillor, Bob Proudfoot, told the ABC he has concerns about conflicts of interest and that the appointment should be re-examined. Late yesterday, the council released a statement to the media confirming its understanding that a complaint had been received by the Office of Local Government regarding the recruitment process of the CEO. A spokesperson said the council welcomes any review by the Office of Local Government into this robust recruitment process. Central Coast Council has been fined $30,000 by the New South Wales EPA for discharging over 140,000 litres of sewage near Toukley Golf Course. That's after initially reporting it as a minor 1,000 litre overflow contained in an inaccessible swamp area. Despite the significant discharge, which lasted about 3 days and potentially reached Lake Budgerooi, no long-term environmental impacts are expected due to tidal dilution. The United Services Union has held a rally to protest Liverpool City Council's decision to proceed with restructuring and potential redundancies of 150 positions, despite an ongoing public inquiry into council operations. The union said workers are fighting against job insecurity caused by frequent restructures and demanding an end to invasive workplace surveillance measures. It claims there have been 33 restructures and realignments at the council in 5 years and 11 different CEOs since 2010. Bathurst Regional Council has announced it will open up the iconic Mount Panorama racing circuit to commercial advertising for the first time ever. The council is seeking expressions of interests from brands looking to secure premium billboard and trackside signage at the internationally acclaimed circuit, which attracts over 280,000 visitors annually outside of major race events. Deputy Mayor Ben Fry says the initiative aims to create new revenue streams for the region without increasing the burden on local ratepayers, particularly as cost shifting from the New South Wales State Government continues to impact regional councils. And Coffs Harbour City Council is raising concerns over what it describes as a prohibitive waste management system for lithium batteries. The Daily Telegraph reported that damaged lithium batteries must be transported 410 kilometres away to Newcastle for proper disposal. The issue is particularly concerning for batteries over 5 kilowatt hours, commonly found in solar energy storage systems and electric vehicles, which are classified as hazardous waste. Even more alarming is that water used to extinguish lithium battery fires is classified as untouchable liquid waste that cannot be processed at local facilities. Councillors have unanimously approved a motion seeking assistance from the state government through the LG New South Wales annual conference. Rounding up more news in brief, Jayden Rivera, a 31-year-old councillor first elected last year, has been elected as Deputy Mayor of Campbelltown City Council for 1 year. He succeeds Councillor Karen Hunt in the deputy position, and Councillor Jack Dodds has been re-elected as Deputy Mayor of Hepburn Shire Council for another 12-month term through next September. Ballina Shire Council is inviting feedback on a proposal to increase general rates by 6% per annum for 4 years from next year. The proposed special rate variation would result in an additional $346 per year for the average residential ratepayer by 2029-30. And Lismore City Council has begun landslip repairs on 5 priority roads as part of a larger restoration package funded by Commonwealth and New South Wales governments. It will carry out damage repairs through late 2027 under the program, reconnecting communities and villages impacted by the 2022 natural disasters. This is the Local Government News Roundup for Friday the 3rd of October 2025. It's edition number 499. And thank you to Symphony 3 for their ongoing support for our podcast. They bring you the Smart Glue platform, which is now available worldwide on the AWS Marketplace. Smart Glue enables simple, connected customer experiences, and you can find out more at symphony3.com. Well, Townsville's mayoral by-election has been set. It will happen on the 15th of November. The Local Government Minister Anne Lay has approved the council's request to conduct the election by full postal ballot, which represents a saving of more than $200,000 over an in-person election. Former Mayor Troy Thompson, who resigned last week, triggering the by-election, has said he'll run for re-election, an option that would not have been open to him if he'd been dismissed by the government. A CCC investigation into allegations against Mr Thompson is reportedly nearing completion, according to ABC News. Other confirmed candidates so far are Henry Patel, a previous mayoral candidate, and member for Hinchinbrook Nick Demetto, who it's reported will resign his seat in order to contest the by-election. A Moreton Bay City Council by-election count is underway. Approximately 55% of enrolled voters were counted as of Saturday night through the Electoral Commission of Queensland. They said the result may not be declared until after the 7th of October, when all postal ballots are received. It's a close race following the resignation of Councillor Darren Grimwade in July, and voters are able to return their completed ballots until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, October 7. North Burnett Regional Council has decided to exit ownership and operation of its 4 caravan parks by June next year. It will take customised approaches for each site, including public tenders for new operators or outright sales. Mayor Les Hott said the strategic decision aims to improve the council's financial sustainability while focusing resources on core services. Redland City Council is pursuing former councillor Adelia Berridge for $500 in costs related to a conduct breach investigation, according to the Redland Bayside News. The efforts are despite her refusal to pay and subsequent crowdfunding for legal challenges. The investigation cost ratepayers $15,000, with the council initially deciding to impose costs on Councillor Berridge of $1,500 before later reducing that amount to $500. And Philip Keel has announced that he'll step down as CEO of Cloncurry Shire Council at the end of the year after 5 years in the role. He's relocating to Perth to be closer to family. Applications have opened for the position and they close on the 27th of October. From Tasmania, the official groundbreaking has occurred for a $60 million Devonport Oval Sports Complex redevelopment, which will create a modern world-class precinct serving 6 sporting codes. The project is a landmark partnership between federal and state governments, Devonport City Council, construction company Fairbrother and not-for-profit St Luke's. Completion is expected by mid-2027. Huon Valley Council says it's working to support tiny houses while advocating for state-level legislative changes that would better accommodate alternative housing solutions. Despite limitations in its authority to override state laws, the council is providing guidance on planning approvals and taking an education-first approach to compliance. Mayor Sally Doyle said while the council is actively lobbying for more progressive planning and building regulations, it's released a fact sheet to provide clarity around the council's role in relation to tiny houses. And Launceston City Council says its city amenities team has more than halved overdue customer service requests and dramatically cut completion times in an impressive turnaround in customer service performance. CEO Sam Johnson said the huge achievement was a result of hard work, smarter systems and a shared determination to do better for the community. To South Australia, where we've had 2 council CEO appointments in recent days. The City of Mount Gambier has appointed Paul Simpson as its new Chief Executive Officer. He'll take up the role from November 3rd and brings more than 20 years of leadership experience in local government, most recently serving as interim CEO of Barunga West Council. The vacancy in the position arises with the departure of Sarah Philpott, who announced her retirement in May and finished with the council in early August. General Manager of City Infrastructure, Barbara Chernovskis, has served as interim CEO since that time. And Port Pirie Regional Council has announced the appointment of Chris Davey as its new CEO, effective October 13. Mr Davey has been with the council for a decade and is stepping up from his current role as Director of Development and Regulation. He's been serving as acting CEO since the retirement of Peter Ackland in July. There are 5 candidates in the running for a supplementary election at the District Council of Kimber. Radio 5CC has reported that voting materials are on the way in the mail ahead of the 27th of October polling day. And Salisbury Council is auctioning 2 Northern Adelaide homes on the 22nd of October to recover approximately $63,000 in rates that have been unpaid for 12 years. Realestate.com.au reported that it's the latest in a trend of South Australian councils selling properties to recoup debts, with buyers purchasing the homes as is without prior internal inspections. And from Western Australia, concerns have emerged about what candidates can include in their election materials, according to Perth Now. City of Canning Mayor Patrick Hall has criticised the current system, pointing out that for just $100, candidates receive what he calls a free platform to distribute their views to every household in the district. He's questioned whether the current 250-word limit on candidate profiles is being exploited for political purposes, after a controversial candidate in Bustleton expressed support for the National Socialist Network and advocated for a return to the White Australia policy in his election materials. Those views caused 4 other candidates to withdraw from a public event. In Canning, a candidate has used her profile to advocate for divestment from companies complicit in the Gaza genocide and to call for sanctions on Israel. Local Government Minister Hannah Beazley has responded by urging voters to research candidates and make informed choices for the elections scheduled for the 18th of October. Perth City Council has pushed through 2 controversial motions opposing major state government projects, despite warnings about making significant decisions during caretaker period. WA Today reported that the decisions included formally opposing a Metronet ferry terminal at Matilda Bay and the Perth Entertainment and Sporting Precinct at Burswood. Councillors cited urgency in making the decisions, despite local government elections being just weeks away. And a stop in the Northern Territory before we head globally. 22-year-old Patrick Ralph has made history as the City of Darwin's likely youngest Deputy Lord Mayor, being elected to the position within a month of joining the council. The new councillor said he felt honoured and responsible in his new role, which he'll serve for the next 4 months. The NT News reported that the city's policy allows for each councillor to spend 4 months in the deputy position during the 4-year term of council. While the city's youngest deputy gets to know his new role, Darwin's new Lord Mayor, Peter Stiles, will become its oldest Lord Mayor within months when he passes the record of 72 years and 5 months held by George Brown, who died in office in 2002. Let's head overseas for some global stories of interest, starting in the UK, where Reform UK-led Nottinghamshire County Council has reportedly reversed a controversial ban on journalists from the area's largest newspaper, the Nottingham Post, and its website, Nottinghamshire Live. The Guardian reports today that the ban, which had been in place for over a month, was lifted after the media outlet threatened legal action. Council leader Mick Barton had imposed the restrictions after objecting to a story about divisions within his party over local government reorganisation plans. The newspaper's parent company argued the ban violated both local government regulations and Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which protects freedom of expression. In a letter from the council, officials claimed the restrictions resulted from miscommunication or misunderstanding and confirmed that journalists would again be invited to public events and receive press releases. The Duchess of York could lose her honorary Freedom of the City of York after an email surfaced from 2011 in which she called sex offender Jeffrey Epstein her supreme friend and apologised for publicly criticising him. Several charities have already cut ties with Sarah Ferguson over the revelation. BBC News reported that York's council leader is considering tabling a motion to remove her honorary freedom ahead of November's council meeting. And Newcastle councillors have expressed unease about being asked to approve a bullying investigation report that they'd not read. The report cleared former council leader Nick Kemp of breaching a code of conduct, despite noting his behaviour was not always acceptable. BBC News reported that the Audit and Standard Committee's independent chairman has agreed to arrange a further meeting to discuss potential improvements to the investigation process. But the council's monitoring officer has maintained that the procedure followed the established protocol. To the US now, and the city administrator at the city of Ladysmith in Wisconsin has appeared in court charged with intercepting oral communications. Alan Christensen and his sister Stephanie are each accused of conspiring to record a closed county board session in August. WQOW News reported that Stephanie was captured on video outside the closed door of the meeting using her phone to record audio, and there were 103 messages exchanged between her and her brother on that evening. They could each face up to 6 years in prison and a $10,000 fine if found guilty of the charges. In New Mexico, the city of Albuquerque is working to install 42 rapidly deployable boxable modular casitas on long vacant city-owned lots, offering 1- and 2-bedroom units that can be set up in days. The homes will be reserved for households at or below 60% of area median income. The proposal is moving through the approval stage with installation targeted for next year, according to KRQE News. A postal strike in Canada has prompted the City of Edmonton's elections office to create a contingency plan to provide alternative ways for voters to access voting information and special ballots for an upcoming municipal election. CTV News reported that the office is increasing communications efforts through digital ads, social media and billboards. It's also providing online tools and in-person options to ensure citizens can participate in the October 20 ballot despite mail delivery disruptions. And from New Zealand, Wellington City Council has revealed a privacy breach when sensitive documents from the old town hall were accidentally sold with furniture. Affected individuals are currently unidentified, and the council has made a public call to those who believe they may be affected to make contact. The council has responded by requesting containment of the documents and non-disclosure of identifying information about those who are subjects of the documents. The Privacy Commissioner has also been notified of the breach. And that's the latest from the Roundup, edition number 499, recorded on Friday the 3rd of October 2025. You can find out more about the episode by heading to lgnewsroundup.com. You'll find a transcript and story links there. The podcast is brought to you by the VLGA, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3's Simple Connected Customer Experiences. I'm grateful to those of you who help make the podcast possible by supporting us through a monthly subscription. Support starts at $3 per month, around $5 Australian, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. The Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I'll be back with episode number 500 on Monday. Until then, thanks for listening, and bye for now. The VLGA's Victorian Councillor Census is back again in 2025. All councillors in Victoria will be emailed the census on the 6th of October and will have until the end of the month to complete. In its second year, the annual census captures and tracks councillor demographics, attitudes and the key challenges to local governance over time. You don't need to be a VLGA member to participate, and at no stage will the VLGA have access to an individual's responses. The findings of the census will inform, influence and lead conversations across local government and with other tiers of government, and all responses will be fully confidential. This is your chance to have your voice heard as a councillor. The Councillor Census is part of the VLGA's commitment to support councillors on their journey to be successful community representatives.